still gotta finish setting up Twitch. Hi, Mom. Give me a second, Mom. I have so much going on. Live. This is not DC. This is Marvel. Indy. Comic reviews. And today is the 17th. We'll go live on this. Thanks for your help, by the way, Cam.
No problem.
If I could just get this to stay up. Oh, hey, Why did that end? Why did our live stream end? Come on, Twitch. Let's run Twitch. Twitch being weird. Nope. God, what the fuck? Why does Bixby keep canceling the Twitch? Oh, because I'm on the button. Bixby, fuck you. Sorry. Losing my mind. Bixby has been ending our Twitch. Okay. Hopefully Bixby doesn't kick off Twitch and we have problems on that aspect. I'm going to take off my mask for the deaf community to read my lips because I can't sign fast enough. I'm not an interpreter, so sorry. Let's get to everything this week. Twitch, I'm sorry. Twitch is going to have a weird angle. I don't know what to do about it right now. If I mess with it, it might queue up Bixby again. Okay, I think we're good on there. It's magic. Someone called John Constantine. Al says, don't forget to announce the CGC SS 9.8 guarantee Aliens #1 signed by Scotty Young. Al has a hook on that. We can get you CGC graded Aliens #1 signed by Scotty Young and certified. It costs $198, I think, Al. I can't remember exactly the price. But if you want that, call the store. We will get you set up. Pop culture news. We saw pictures of John Walker. You shared me a picture of John Walker, the actor playing John Walker, U.S. agent in Falcon and Winter Soldier. 195. Thanks, Al. 195 on that Aliens graded. And anyways, so the actor playing John Walker, no offense to the actor himself, has a very punchable face, which is the exact kind of face we want for John Walker. Any other news that happened?
Oh, Ryan Reynolds was heavily considered for the Snyder Cut to play Green Lantern.
What?
Yeah.
Is that true?
Zack Snyder said.
Ryan Reynolds was being considered to play. Well, I don't want that Green Lantern back, and I'm saying that as a Green Lantern fan.
One coming in with alongside him. They didn't say who.
Just not him.
Wild guess, Jon Stewart.
Yeah, it should be Jon Stewart. But and if Guy Gardner makes an appearance, make that played by Nathan Fillion.
I'm eager to see who
for sure.
Rolling in for this movie.
Done the role literally as in cartoons, right?
Yep, he has. And he just kind of looks the character. I'd be okay with that.
Feels like it.
Yeah, he sure does. Anything else? Any other pop culture news? Falcon and Winter Soldier tomorrow at midnight?
Tonight.
Was it?
Tonight is
Snyder Cut.
Snyder Cut.
Oh, Snyder Cut is out tonight.
Midnight tonight.
Woo! So I'm not coming into work tomorrow, Yogi. I've
That's nice. It's my day off. So
yeah, I got that out. It's been a weird week, but we finally got our books, so we're gonna do the Marvel and Indy books. First one is Scott Samo, Gracia Cruz Han, and this is Transformers Back to the Future. Now, keep in mind, I like that the writer has really knows the source material, and I love the art. The art is good. My only complaint about this is that we're dealing with Rodimus Prime and not Optimus Prime. It's just, if I had to pick from any of the primes, Rodimus would be dead last. I'm gonna say that right now. Now, am I having a good time with it? Yes. It's nice to see. It's nice to see the DeLorean become. What's the name of the DeLorean?
Gigawatt.
Gigawatt. Yeah, Gigawatt, the Transformer. We're gonna see a couple other things. Transformers become a couple other things. Can anyone guess what one of them is? Don't guess the end thing. What do you think? What do you think? Don't guess the end thing. Don't spoil it. But what do you think? What one of the other staples of the Back to the Future franchise that a Transformer might transform into?
Probably the train.
No.
Marty McFly Nike.
No. The hoverboard.
Oh.
You're for sure going to see the hoverboard happen. A little bit of a spoiler. Not the biggest spoiler because you need to get to the end of this. The final, like the end page was like, oh, damn. Oh, okay. I was a little shocked by it. So I'm having a lot of fun with this run. Don't get me wrong. It's a pretty good series so far. Why Rodimus Prime? Let's just bury him and leave him dead. I think from the OG Transformers movie, he was my least favorite character, which sucks because he was like the focal point.
You know why though?
Well, because Prime was dead.
Touch.
No. Like every other character, we got Galvatron out of that, Unicron. There were so many good characters, and that somehow it was Hot Rod.
Yeah.
Hot Rod became the Prime. Anyways, next is Higgins, Groom, Amana, Ferragato. What a name, Ferragato. Grundichern. What a name, Grundichern. Gurihuru and Costa. I hope I pronounced your names right, guys. If I murdered them, I apologize. This is Ultraman Trials of Ultraman. Now, the last Ultraman run, the little miniseries, was really good. However, it needed to warm up. The first couple of issues, we did not get enough kaiju fights. And okay, I get it. It's Ultraman. You got to build up to the kaiju fights. That's fine. But you're not going to get a giant amount of kaiju fights in this, which is a little disappointing. But it's setting the stage for another Ultraman story. We all know it's going to build there. So, okay, we'll give it an issue or two until we see a big fight. Will the Steph nailed it. Will the hoverboard be a Transformer too? Yes. Anyways, Trials of Ultraman, issue number 1. It's okay. It's hard to talk about it, issue number 1, without spoiling it, so I'm doing my best. The art's really good. I'm just going to tell you, there's not enough action for an Ultraman comic, it feels like. I'd say give it another issue and decide if you're really going to jump in on it. If you are a giant Ultraman fan, you can't go wrong. He definitely does the pose, but that's about it. Next is, Eastman, Campbell, and Pattinson. And we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This is, we've got 2 of the baby turtles, which are giant kaiju-level mutants that are about to go up against Bebop and Rocksteady. And honestly, I feel sorry for the kaijus. But this TMNT run has been really fun. And more importantly, we've had the albino baby turtle mutant come back from the future, referencing a character called the Timestress, which we haven't seen since the 90s or sometime in there. Maybe we might have seen her recently and I'm just forgetting, but that's fair. No, you didn't spoil it, Steph, because the last page is something else entirely. You'll see. So this TMNT run has just been top notch, and I haven't been bored at all. I love it. I keep singing the praises of TMNT in hopes that somebody's gonna jump in. We don't have enough subs on this. It's bothering me. It makes my eye twitch. So please come read TMNT. It's amazing. If you like Last Ronin and you're fully on board with Last Ronin, frankly, you should be reading the Mutant Town stuff because it's really good. Anyway, next is a book that, it almost might be my pick of the week for Marvel. Almost. Let me thumb through and decide. There's a couple things that I've sort of got to pick between. Give me a second, guys. And no, it's not my pick of the week. It was close.
Sorry, folks, it's about to get loud.
Oh, okay. Almost my pick of the week. Right about there, just about, is Amazing Spider-Man. This is the variant, but this is the King in Black Amazing Spider-Man number 1. Now, a lot of these King in Black tie-ins, while good, have kind of felt like filler. They've sort of fallen victim to the filler curse. This one, the setup sounds like it's filler. It's a street level hero like Spider-Man trying to do what he can in this situation when the whole world is in crisis and realizing that maybe he needs to go back to his roots on his hero ability. And teaming up with another mutant, or not another mutant. Actually, he might be a mutant. I don't know. Teaming up with another hero who is going to be getting his own series soon. And honestly, I didn't think I would feel as touched reading this character that I don't know all that well, that I think has ties to Avengers Academy. I didn't think I'd be as touched. By the time I got to the last page, like it really pulled at the heartstrings. And I honestly wanted to know more about this character. And I really, really think you will too. So I'm going to say don't skip. On my don't skip short list of the week is definitely King in Black, Amazing Spider-Man #1, which this is the variant. That's why you see Deadpool and Venom on the cover. I don't know where the main cover is, but it's really good. Don't skip this. Rush out and pick it up. It's amazing. Yeah, great read. Another, well, it's a fun read. Hama, Wachter, and Menon, and this is Iron Fist, Heart of Darkness. Now, this Iron Fist run has been strange because it's been just nonstop action, chasing Taskmaster, who's like stealing dragon hearts and breaking into like the different levels of heaven. There's a lot of weird stuff going on in this. But one scene in particular in this has Okoye butting heads with the, I think her name is Princess of Six Spiders or something. And it is like Okoye versus Hot Topic is what it felt like. And it was funny. Like, I definitely laughed pretty hard. But I'm not kidding. This character has like a spiked collar where the spikes can shoot out and fight, and then honestly vomits up spiders. And Okoye is like, oh, okay, we're good. like, you've proven your worth here. I'm cool. I'm gonna step back. Like, so it was that alone was worth the price of the comic. Everything else, even though it sort of took, was second fiddle to that. I had a really, really good time with this. But again, I think though that scene alone is totally worth picking this book up. Now the art is great. The story's been really, really fun. Do we get to see any of the wrap up as to what's going on in this? No, not yet. But it has been a fun ride. Wait. This is the one where Taskmaster was stealing the hearts, or was that the last Iron Fist? Because there was two of them at one point. I might have gotten the two Iron Fist comics confused because they released them back to back. But I think this is the one. At the very least, this is them running through the different realms of heaven and trying to get to the bottom of things. It's fun. Really, really fun. And the art it's good. And something about this cover in particular is really, really cool looking. I mean, it's that one style that just at times borderline feels like watercolors to me, and it's not quite. Next is, well, it's the best superhero comic book in the universe. Kirkman, Walker, and Crabtree, and this is Invincible. Now, I never finished Invincible. I read quite a few issues of it, but I never finished Invincible, and I did pick it up here and there. I am excited for the series, so I couldn't tell you if this is continuing off the comic or if this is exactly what we're going to get in the Amazon series. It could be either one. It does say, Invincible new TV series. Now, hang on a minute. If you know this character, you'll know that his father looks like a certain loud mouth that, gosh darn it, wants pictures of Spider-Man. Give me pictures of Spider-Man. J.K. Simmons played J. Jonah Jameson. The Spider-Man movie, the Tobey Maguire movie, and I think came back. Didn't he come back in the recent one?
Yes, sir. He is playing Jonah Jameson.
J. Jonah Jameson, yeah.
Tom Holland.
And Invincible's dad looks almost exactly like J. Jonah Jameson, so guess who they got to play that character? Yeah. J.K. Simmons. So, yeah, you absolutely got to come pick this up. Get ready for the series, which is out next week. And, wow, I can't wait. Are you kidding? A comic animated series, I'm fully on board here. Mm-hmm. So, and done by Amazon Prime, yeah, I'm all about this. Next is Ewing, Quinn, and Blee. Oh, it's Ewing doing Champions right now. We're talking about Champions. And the Cradle Act, well, a lot of things have come to pass. The Cradle Act was being enforced by, what's the group that was enforcing the Cradle Act? Do I have it backwards? It's Cradle the group? No, the Cradle Act is different. It's the Kamala Khan Act. The Kamala Khan Act being enforced by Cradle, and a bunch of teen vigilantes were being kidnapped and taken to reprogramming centers. Meanwhile, we came to find out that Vision might have been behind it all along. And some of that gets explained in this. But more importantly, I mean, do you want to see Viv and Amadeus Cho go to town on, like, Cradle? Does that sound fun to you? That sounds like the best fight ever, if I'm honest. Like, that's exactly what I want out of Champions. Maybe throw Miles in the mix, which we didn't. I don't know. I'm not going to say whether or not you get to see that or not. But Viv and Amadeus going to town is definitely worth the price of this book. Now, what else do you get in this? You get a lot of good art. The story is nice. It's finally wrapped up with a bow, the whole Kamala Khan thing, which I've been fully involved with. Like, I've been on board this whole time. Like, that's been a fun read. So we do get a wrap up on that. I'm happy with how it turns out. I'm excited about where it's going from there, which is pretty cool. You're gonna have to see and get to the last page. They're not canceling it. They're not restarting it. This isn't going to be the third time we see a Champions run this year. Thank God. This one's great. It's great. It's written by Ewing. Keep it going. Keep it up. Keep Ewing on board with this. Let it happen. Please, Marvel, please. No more number ones on these. Next is Jim Henson's The Storyteller, Tale 1 of 4, Tricksters. And this one, it's called the Archaea? Archaea? Is that Archaea? Is that a writer? Archaea?
Yes, Archaea.
Archaea. I don't know this person. And Jonathan Rivera and Jade Zhang. This is, if you can't tell from the cover, this is going to be Anansi, the Anansi Tales, which is the African spider god, the trickster, is one of my favorite characters. Well, the Anansi brothers, are two of my favorite characters from the American God series. Well, book by Neil Gaiman. Which is now a series. It is a series. And that led into the Anansi Boys, which is another book by Neil Gaiman that I absolutely love. So I think, did I mute the mic? I'm sorry if I muted the mic. I was super excited to see this. I read it, and it's actually I think it's the OG Tales. Now I'm not up to date on this folklore, so I might have it skewed, but I think it was the actual Folklore Tales, which was fun to see. It was fun. It was written really well. It was very whimsical and felt like Jim Henson, where at times it was almost dark, but then just pulled it back out of that fire. So it's good. It's good. And if you've been reading the fairy tale stuff, the ghost stuff. He's been doing ghost stories. Yeah, any of that stuff, you will be perfectly happy with this Jim Henson's tale. It's amazing, and it's 1 of 4, so we'll see where it goes. It's the Tricksters one, so I have a sneaky suspicion that eventually a coyote is going to wind up being there. What other trickster gods can you guys think of? Definitely a Nancy, definitely a coyote, probably a snake god. Yeah. I don't know.
A rabbit trickster as well.
A rabbit is a trickster god in Japan.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I swear to God. I know that because of Neil Gaiman's American Gods. There's a rabbit that is a trickster god that is also a god of homosexuality from Japan. Yep. So, Neil Gaiman, thank you for my knowledge on folklore. Hey, you can come in, dude. Next is Ewing, Sheedy, and Gracia. And we're talking about Sword. And we saw last time that Null had infiltrated Sword, sort of, like a couple of them. And then it was building towards a fight between him and, I think his name's Sunspot. Is his name Sunspot? Help me out, Cam. That mutant that can teleport and summon the sun. It's Manifold.
Yeah, there's like 3 mutants that have like the same, like, kind of like
similar powers, yeah. So we're gonna get to see Manifold and Null fight. More importantly, who Null possesses is kind of a fan favorite, I guess you could say. Who can teleport? What's it he says when he teleports? Time slip by 2 or by 1 or something like that. So we're gonna actually get to see a teleporter fight. I love teleporter fights. I'm not gonna lie. Like those are my favorite. Whenever there's a mutant book with a teleporter fight, even when I wasn't a huge X-Men fan, I was like, oh, Nightcrawler's fighting so and so. Oh, I'm in on this. Those are I think the only fights that I like better than mutant fights are like the old school Doc Ock and Spider-Man fights, where like you would just see like tentacle and then a fist and then another tentacle and then like you'd see like a full 2-page spread of like Doc Ock's tentacles going everywhere, like breaking, like those were some of my favorites. So yeah, teleporter fight, totally worth it. More importantly, we get to see the Sword team handle their first challenge, and while it was good to see, and I understand what they're being tasked out to do, and that's fine. I will say that the way they came together at the end was kind of iffy, like, and maybe it's just I'm not too used to these different mutants quite yet, but it was so. The wrap-up's good. The character Manifold, that character I really love, and I like to see how it ended. But again, the way the team came together at the end, kind of iffy. Still worth picking up, though. I would absolutely say it's worth picking up. Cam, can you hand me my drawing, which is the one on the paper? Thank you. My throat's starting to go. Next is, well, this is the Terminus Gauntlet, a desperate gambit. Sax, Villanelli, and Prianto, and we're talking about Star Wars bounty hunters. Now, Cam, you don't like this series very much, do you?
Not a fan.
Not a fan. I'm not really a big fan of it either because I don't care about the character Valance. He's just not my jam. He's basically Star Wars Terminator is what he looks like to me. But there's no denying that there's some good twists and turns, and that the writer like does care about his characters. So I was reading this and I was like, okay, maybe I need to give it another chance, or maybe it's just because they're building up to the Bounty Hunter War, which I want to know what's going to happen in that. So I'm kind of on the fence. I would say that if you didn't like this Bounty Hunter run like me or Cam did, this issue alone is still worth picking up because it's building towards something. So come grab that. We know there's a big event coming, and you're probably going to want to read that before it kicks off. And yeah, it's going to spread across multiple Star Wars books. But we did hear about one of the bounty hunters reappearing from Gennady Tarkelson's Clone Wars, which was the Powerpuff Girl creators' Clone Wars. So that was a bounty hunter that was featured in that series that we never saw again, right, Cam? I don't think so.
Separatist propaganda.
Yeah, and it's gonna the character's gonna be appearing in Dr. Aphra. And the second Cam showed me the picture, like I was like, oh yeah, I do remember that character with like the claw foot type stuff and the big neck, but haven't seen it in forever. Did you yell separatist propaganda? Oh my god. Alor, Evanui, and Pure. This is the G.I. Joe one-shot Castle Fall. Now, this G.I. Joe stuff has been dark, and I mean like dark stuff. It's been 2 years now, I believe, about 2 years. The Cobra Commander and Cobra itself has seized control of the United States, and G.I. Joe has completely lost the war and had to divide into sleeper cells and rise up and use hit-and-run tactics. And man, it has been a dark and wild ride. So much so that they're finally going to get they might finally pull something out of the fire here. I don't want to spoil too much. What I will spoil is like this is the gritty G.I. Joe that has been happening in the last couple of years. So if you grew up as a kid with Yo-Jo and Cobra where they fired like a million laser shots and nobody ever connected, this ain't it. We legit see a couple of G.I. Joe characters like just blast somebody in the chest in this one. And it's good. It's really good. And as somebody, who's a soldier, I love this G.I. Joe stuff. But if you're looking for the kids stuff, this is way, way, way more adult. Now, is this one shot good? Yes, it's amazing. The art is amazing. It feels like they've been building 2 years to this event. The story is great. It's exactly what I wanted out of it. And, oh, man, I don't know if this is the writer that started. I think I have a sneaky suspicion Alor is the writer that started that a couple years back. It's nice to see it finally come full circle. You need to pick it up. Oh, but on that cover, is that a member of G.I. Joe hip firing a 50 cal? Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. but he's hip firing a 50 cal. Yogi, is that possible?
Absolutely not.
No,
Not.
no, you ain't hip firing a 50 cal. That's wild. He does it multiple times in the book, and each time I was like twitching. Anyways, next is Care Andrews, Brian Reber, and we're talking about Erratic. Man. Okay, first of all, there's two things to unpack here. One, the art. The art is stellar. It hasn't changed. It's the same artist. It's so good. The storyline is still great. I can't believe that we're 4 issues into this, and it hasn't once stopped with the action. Every single time I pick up an issue, I'm like, we're going to get a bit of a lull here. They've sort of tied something up with a bow. Maybe they've kind of fleshed out a new part about his suit. Maybe a little bit more is explained. We're going to get a bit of a lull here. No, throws you right back into the action. This story is great. Really good. And it's weird because, like, AWA, I'm used to AWA for the crime stories and the other gritty sort of detective stories. It's weird to say that this superhero is, I mean, it's on par with Marvel right here. It's that good. So come pick it up. Erratic is outstanding. Out-friggin' standing. Next is Percy Brown and Guru Effects, and we're talking about XForce. Bishop likes talking to XForce because he loves talking to cops. If you can't tell from that, yeah, we found out last issue that Quentin might be having problems with his powers. They might be manifesting in weird ways. And yeah, I'm going to come out and say it. We're going to get a Freddy Krueger reference that is so in your face, yet felt so good by the end of this book. That's all I'm going to say. So I'm not going to tell you anything else about this book. If you know who Freddy Krueger is, you probably can guess kind of what's happening. And yeah, it's the art is stellar. The storyline's good. Had a great time. And that reference, man, is just cool to see. Big ups to Percy for throwing that in there. Next is Marie. Love it. We're talking about Eros and Psyche. This is a weird one, okay? Anything with Eros in the name, I'm usually going to assume is something centering around like love or seduction or something. And it still might. I mean, you can tell from that cover there might be some of that at play, but the storyline seems kind of all over the place. It starts with a gal getting a letter, and the letter is like a cryptic cipher, and she's got to get to the bottom of it. And she's being invited to an institute called the Rose Institute, and it goes from there. Is it interesting? Yes. Is there something cryptic at play? Yes, which is pretty much in your face. Is there a love story in play? Not yet. So I'm not sure where this is going. The storyline did seem kind of weird. It was intriguing. Now the art to me was kind of iffy. It was good. Don't get me wrong. It's good art. It's just something about it felt different is all I'm going to say. And it's just something that I'm not quite used to. It felt like that weird old Italian kind of erotic artist called like Milo Minara or something like that. That's what it felt like. We've mentioned him, I think, 2 times now. It's weird, but it's okay. It wasn't my favorite book of the week, and it's definitely not going to be my indie pick of the week. But it was okay, and we'll have it on our shelf, and you can come pick it up if you so feel the need. Next is Thor, Prey, Part 5. Donny Cates, Nick Klein, Matt Wilson. Okay. We're building towards a big fight with Donald Blake, who is the former Thor. And in that fight, we also have Throg, the Thor frog, as well as Lockjaw, and quite a few other people. Strange has been tapped. We have a powered-down Beta Ray Bill, which how are you going to do, my man, Beta Ray Bill, that dirty? That bothers me so much. But we have a lot going on, and yeah, it's great. It's great. Really good. The art is amazing. The story's fun. I've loved everything about that. The last issue was just Throg and Lockjaw beating the snot out of Donald Blake. God, that felt good too, right? Anyways, so my pick of the week, without a doubt, is Thor. This issue of Thor, don't skip it. It's amazing. It's the best thing out of Marvel right now next to Immortal Hulk. I will stand by that and die by those words. Next is Zim's Greatest Plan. We're talking about the Invader Zim Quarterly. And, man, this... I know that they stopped the monthlies and they swapped them out over to the quarterlies, and because of it, you get a bit more content. I mean, it's not quite a trade paperback, but it's definitely bigger than a normal comic. You also get a really good story, which to me, the comics felt good. They felt like the cartoons, but they felt just a hair too short for the cartoons, you know? The cartoons themselves, they go all over the place. Like one thing leads into another. Like a good example is... at one point, Zim gets sent to the school nurse, I think, in one of the cartoons. Mm-hmm. And then other kids get sent to the school nurse. And then it turns out, like, Zim is harvesting, like, organs. And Dib winds up getting a pigeon on his head in class. And the teacher's like, you have head pigeons. Go to the nurse. Now Dib... So that's all over the place. That's the kind of Zim story you want. This issue is like that. It goes... every which way and just completely fast and loose with the plot, and I loved it. Honestly loved it. I'm going to go ahead and give this probably my indie pick of the week. No, I'm not. Almost my indie pick of the week. Right about there. I just saw another book that is definitely going to get it. Next this is by Kaboom, and this is Larson and Orcs. Is Larson doing the art and the story?
Yes.
Okay. The story, it's like fantasy story with orcs running around and adventures, mostly centering around the kids. It's kind of fun. But the art is what kind of blew me away about this. The art itself is, it feels like Gru the Wanderer at times. Like it's got that kind of old school feel, but a modern twist on it. And even some of these characters sort of look like Gru the Wanderer, very top-heavy individuals with big old swords and axes and stuff. I loved it. I had a good time with it. It's one of those books, though, that I had to speed read it, and I was like, oh, I kind of want to go back and read it a little bit slower. But it was a fun time, and if you're looking for a good bit of fantasy this week, it's pretty good. But keep in mind, as far as fantasy is concerned, this is more, I guess, Saturday morning cartoon-like is what I'd put the theming at. If you want that gritty fantasy, that's not quite it. Not yet. Next is Pacheco, Perez, and Darmada. This is Spider-Woman is out for blood. Now, we have talked about this Spider-Woman storyline and said, like, oh, it was good for a couple issues and then just exploded into chaos, which was all types of fun. Really, really good fun. I mean, there's, like, clones and, like, long-lost parents and, like, all types of like brawls and insanity. It's just a wild ride where it feels like you're on a roller coaster just holding on for dear life with each issue. And each time you're like, whoa, that got out of hand so quick, and I loved it. This is the wrap up to that arc. And I'm going to tell you right here and right now, you'll love it. You'll absolutely love it. If you've been on board with the Spider-Woman series, like this wrap up is perfect. Felt just right. Felt perfect. And it not only was it fun, but they handled it in a very proper way. And the fight, it's all building towards a fight anyways. The fight was really good. So, don't skip it. It's not my pick of the week, but it is on my short list, so you should absolutely pick it up. I can't say short list because now that I've gotten into stock, short list means something else. Your short list would be a negative thing. It's my long pick of the week, I guess you could say. Next is going to be my indie pick of the week, without a doubt, and that's Kyle Higgins, Marcelo Acosta with Becca Carey, and we're talking about Radiant Black. Now, I did say the first issue of Radiant Black, the art was amazing. The storyline was, it was a guy finds a suit and gets powers, and we've all seen that a million times over. So I was like, it's good. It's just a little tropey, but it's good. This one, outstanding, stellar. I basically, they've already introduced the villain, the counter to Radiant Black, which is on the cover. It's Radiant Red. He's up to no good, and somebody who looks like Radiant Black going out and causing trouble, well, then you got to hem that person in, and it's good. More importantly, it's an untested superhero, and the Radiant Black character is like, he gets into scraps, and he's like, whoa, like I wasn't trying to fight you, man. Like he's not. He's just green enough that it makes these situations pretty comical. and I loved it. I honestly loved it. I picked it up. It was one of the ones where I was trying to speed read through it, and then I had to slow down because I was like, no, this is fun, dude. Like this is exactly what I wanted out of this book. So you're not going to be disappointed. Did you like the first one?
It was slow, but it was more of a get the premise of what's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it felt like it was like an excuse for the character, which the character looks badass.
Right.
So it was an excuse, a little bit of backstory, but they were like, yo, we're just going to jump into it after this. And that's perfect. That's what I wanted, and that's what we got. So don't skip that this week at all. That is pick of the week for indies. Next is James Stokio, Orphan and the Five Beasts. I don't know. Maybe I just haven't bonded with this artist, but the art feels off to me. At times it feels like, I don't know, like something out of Cracked, maybe Mad Magazine kind of stuff. The art's a bit weird. And I know there are people that really like this art. So, I take it with a grain of salt. It's not my jam. It's just not my jam. The story is, well, it seems like a legend, like an Asian legend. I'm not sure which, but it involves like 5 beasts or 5 plagues. They've sort of hinted that it's sort of both. And the main character is going to have to fight them. It's got a really wicked sense of humor. I will say that. Like, one of the characters just has the funniest damn name ever. And I wasn't bored. I'm not going to say that I was bored. It's just the story felt a bit all over the place. Like, there were times where it felt like Dragon Ball, and then there were other times where it felt like it was just weird. It was weird. It was a bit all over the place. Now, I didn't hate it, but your mileage may vary. I can definitely say that the art wasn't my jam. So if you are kind of like me and you're a bit of an art snob, pick it up, thumb through it, and then decide if it's your jam. That's what I'm going to say on that one. Next is, well, I'm going to show off 2 covers. This is 45 thrilling pages of Captain America, Sentinel of Our Shores, plus other great features. Also, Captain America's young ally, Bucky. And we're talking about the Captain America Anniversary Tribute, celebrating 80 years of the Star-Spangled Avenger. Yeah. Is it a good tribute to Cap? Yes, it's a good tribute to Cap. Is it anything new? I think these are sort of rehashes of older stories, sort of thrown together. I could be mistaken. Maybe some of them are just done in older styles, but I don't recall reading these, but they did seem sort of familiar. So that's all I'm going to say. If you're a huge Cap fan, you will not be disappointed by any means, especially from these covers. These covers are amazing. The story's pretty good. I have a sneaky suspicion that these are just repurposed old stories, some of his best stories that they put together. Granted, I have to speed read stuff, so I gotta brush through it quick. But it's a good read. It's not my pick of the week. Sadly, I know 80 years of Captain America. It should be my pick of the week. It was just almost. Next is a book. Oh, we didn't talk about him. We got to talk about it before. The list.
You have it right there.
Let's talk about the list. So we discussed putting together a D-team list of superheroes, and this next character is one of them. It jogged my memory. So we're going to go over the D-team lists real fast. On the DC list, we'll do the DC list first. These are the worst villains and heroes that we generally don't care about and figured they'd make a good D-list team. And that is, these are almost all villains. You realize that, right? Mirror Master, Red Mist, Batmite, Condiment King, the campiest Batman hero or villain. Although it was Condiment King, that was from the animated series, wasn't it? It wasn't actually from the comics. I know Polka Dot Man was from both. Was from the comics. No, I'm pretty sure he came from the animated series, but that's fine. That counts. Leviathan, because we were honestly slamming Bendis yesterday, and I can't stand Red Mist or Leviathan. I don't like those villains. The more recent Wonder Woman villain that I think we just hate her name, and it's Maxwell Lord's daughter, Liar. And then here's where the list is going to get really controversial. Booster Gold, because keep in mind, I love the bromance between Booster Gold and Blue Beetle, but I don't like Booster Gold as a character. Like, I love Blue Beetle is what it is, and yeah, they do go hand in hand, but Booster Gold does tend to get on my nerves. He screws up a lot. Probably worse generally than the Flash screws up. Granted, we've never gotten a Booster Gold level Flashpoint, so okay.
I mean, his whole existence is a big Flashpoint.
That's true. That's true. And then the last person on the D-list team for DC is going to be Ultraman, which that's the Superman counterpart from the Crime Syndicate that is known to sniff kryptonite and eat kryptonite. Yeah, he's just kind of a mess of a character. So that's our D-list team for DC. That's fine. We're going to go over the Marvel D-list team. And although this character is on the D-list team, I'm happy to say that I like this first book in their series. So the first one is Black Knight, which, okay, look, if you know anything about the Black Knight character, he's really annoying. Really annoying. And it's not just that, like, fans, like, they read his books that gets annoying, because he says verily, like, all the time, and thee and thy. And it's not like Thor, where Thor has, like, what's the term? The penumbrance, the Shakespearean sort of, the Shakespearean dialogue. Thor is a real pleasant character to read in that aspect, whereas this character is not, like 100% not. So Black Knight is our first pick for the D-list team. Then U.S. Agent, because I hate John Walker. I can't stand that character. 2020's Iron Man, because again, Arno Stark sucks, and so does that suit with the giant, like, chainsaw blade gears. Yeah, he has no peripheral vision whatsoever. Yogi is wincing as I mention this. Also on the D-list team, not because we hate him, though. I actually love this character, but because, I mean, he does fit the D-list tier. Howard the Duck? Yeah. This other character I also kind of like, because it feels like a more honest character, because she had a chance to become, like, redemption status and, like, go hero. And she was like, nah, it's just not me. That is Star. And keep in mind, Star is still sort of doing, like, yeah, John Walker sucks. See, even Al says, and Arno Stark is the worst. Agreed. So Star is on the list. Now, I like Star, and I want to know where Star's going. But you can't tell me that she's an A tier, like, hero. She's definitely D-list. The next two, I'm sorry, I hate these characters. And, you know, I don't really like this X book that has them in it either. Wild Child and Nanny, neither one of them are my favorites. They make the D-list team. Cam came up with this one, and I gotta say I agree. And that is Old Daddy Summers, Corsair, Space Pirate himself, Swashbuckler. Yeah, Corsair makes the list. Okay, the last two. I gotta take a swig before we hit the last two D-list team. For our Marvel D-list team, this one, and I will challenge this on anyone. You might say that you know this character's mythos, or that you like the fact that they're tied to the multiverse and something about them that is kind of cool. But I guarantee you, you are not a diehard fan of Captain Britain. I have never met a diehard fan of Captain Britain. I don't think they exist. And I'm sorry, if you name a character Captain Britain, you gotta have messed up teeth. No, I'm sorry. Anyways, Captain Britain makes our D-list team. The Summers Collective can make a D-list show as they quibble. Right?
I said it yesterday.
Cam said it yesterday. We almost put all of the Summers on the list, save for Cyclops and Havoc. We almost, well, I think you were even going to put Havoc on the list. We almost did that, but then we pulled it back. The last person on our list for Marvel D-list teams are, keep in mind, I love the hero tied to this. It's one of my favorite heroes, and that is Moon Knight. but I could not deny that Khonshu, of all people, definitely makes the D-list team for Marvel. So that's our list. It's Black Knight, U.S. Agent, 2020 Iron Man, Arno Stark, Howard the Duck, Star, Nanny, Wild Child, Corsair, Captain Britain, and Khonshu. If you want to put together a train wreck to end all train wrecks of Marvel heroes and villains, and I guess demigods, that's the team to do it. That's it. I would read that, though. Keep in mind, we put together these D-list teams, and I was like, that's a mess. I would read that if somebody could make it work.
Shout out for this weekend's auction.
Oh, shout out for this weekend's auction. We are doing an auction. Well, I'm not finished. But yeah, we're doing an auction this weekend. We're going to have some decent stuff. So that's what day and what time? Sunday. And what time? 4:30 at Sunday. 4:30 p.m. on Sunday. I throw Iron Fist in there because no one wants. Okay, hear me out. The Iron Fist comics that have been going across the shelf right now have been really fun. And the Immortal Iron Fist run where he had the guns, that character had the guns, it wasn't Danny Rand, is an amazing run. I love that Iron Fist. So I couldn't put him in good conscience on the list. Plus, the Danny Rand of the TV show is not the Danny Rand of the comics. Granted, Danny Rand is kind of a spoiled rich kid, but next is a book I honestly loved, even though it features one of my D-list tier teams, and that is Black Knight, Curse of the Ebony Blade. We've also got the Peach Momoko cover while they last. This comic, I'm going to put that Peach Momoko cover out there. This comic was great for a lot of reasons. One, it has Black Knight doing what Black Knight does, where he's in a situation with the Avengers, talking the way he talks. And the Avengers are like, you know what, man? You're really, really annoying. Like, I really don't like dealing with you. Yeah, you got powers, but you're getting on my nerves, buddy. And that's what I wanted from this. That's absolutely what I wanted. More importantly, they're retooling his mythos. Some things are going to be changing about this character. And trust me, you're going to want to know. I was intrigued. I was pulled into a character I can't stand, and I had a good time with this comic, and you will too. If for nothing else, I was a huge fan of the Black Knight pinball game, which was not based on the Marvel character. It's just Black Knight. But it's honestly, I was having visions of that while I was reading this. It's great. It's great. So, okay, D-list hero, yes. No one ever says that Black Knight is their favorite hero, at least not yet. But you will have a good time with this, I promise you. So come pick it up. Next is, look, okay, I'm going to show this to you, this cover, and I'm going to read you the title. This is James Harren and Dave Stewart. Now, this is a giant book. It is a trade paperback size book. It's one of, I think, 3. And this is called Ultra Mega. And yeah, that is a beefy Ultraman on the cover. You cannot deny that is a beefy Ultraman cover. So what has this got its influence in? Well, Ultraman and kaiju fights. That's what this is. It's a good excuse. So much a good excuse that the main character is being offered his powers through this like dreamlike trance where a creature is like, your world is on the precipice. Turmoil is going to occur, and you need to accept my gift of power to power up. And the main character is like, okay, I'm not exaggerating that. Like, that's what the first page is. So is it an excuse for an Ultraman kaiju fight? Yes. Is it fun? Yes. The art was the only thing I was sort of on the fence with at times. There were times where the art, I don't know what it was. I couldn't put my finger on it, but it wasn't. There were times where I was like, it's kind of iffy. But if you want to know the kaiju premise, it's basically there's a virus spreading across mankind, and it's mutating some people into giant kaiju monsters. There you go. There's a reason for a fight. Is it good? Yes. Is there a lot of action? Yes. Is there a bunch of kaiju in this? Yes. Is this what you want out of an Ultraman-inspired comic? Yes. Is it my pick of the week for indies? No, it's really close, though. I had a good time. Something about it said, go one more issue before you really decide if you're going to commit full board. Now, is there a lot of comic here? Again, yes. Do you get your money's worth? Absolutely. Is it fun? Yes. Something about the story just felt a little off. So that's all I'm gonna say is give it 2 issues before you fully jump in on a sub. But pretty good showing for number 1, for darn sure. Next is a comic I have loved and does not get enough love in our store, and I'm going to show you the Jen Bartel Women's History Month variant because, God, I love everything Jen Bartel does. She's just my favorite artist next to Jamal Campbell. And that's, of course, Hellcat Patsy Walker, which if you know anything about the Iron Man comics, you'll know that she's essentially like the comics center around her and Tony, for sure. It's Iron Man and Hellcat is what the comic should really be called. That's what you get. He put together a team. In the last couple issues, he had his back broken. He's got his suit wired up like tightly, so tightly that he can't even take off his mask or he'll die. And meanwhile, he's got to travel across space to end this fight. We have a lot of heroes at play that we don't know all that well. One of them is Frogman, which you know from Deadpool. I think it was, you told me? Yeah, Deadpool. Do you know the character? I like the character Frogman, but that character is very clearly just a furry in an outfit. Like that's what he is. There's a lot of other characters that I really like in the story. There's a deaf character, and they've done that justice. There were times where he's used sign, and I've been like, okay, they've kind of gotten some of the signs right. I've been having the best time with this Iron Man run, and you absolutely will. It's funny. It made me laugh. It is definitely, Tony Stark is definitely having a midlife crisis, and it shows, along with a bunch of other crises all at the same time. It's a great, great run, and you should totally be on board with this Iron Man run. Who's writing this, by the way? Oh, Christopher Cantwell. No wonder it's good. Who's the artist? Keifu. Okay. No wonder it's good. You know, it's just really, really good artist, really, really good writer. Keep coming. Keep them coming. Please don't restart Iron Man. Iron Man's another one that's fallen victim to the champions like curse.
Mm-hmm.
Need more.
But the last one was horrible. The last one I think was the Arnold Stark one, wasn't it?
Oh, it was horrible.
In the Arnold Stark
well, the Arnold Stark one was horrible, but that last book was actually kind of fun. Very last comic of it was kind of fun. But Iron Man has been restarted like 4 or 5 times, it feels like. I'm probably exaggerating. This is Corey, Bechko, Aragon, and Segala. And if you know anything about James S.A. Corey, I think is the name. Maybe it's just S.A. Corey. But it's actually 2 writers that write under that pen name. We're talking about The Expanse being written by the creators, or at least they're lending their talent to this team. And this takes place between this season and the season before that. And it centers around Senator Avasarala and what's her name? It's going to drive me nuts. The Martian Soldier, who is one of my favorite characters, and my brain has completely died. Bobby Draper. And so it's a good story, and I'm happy to say that they wrapped this up really well. Like, there was a lot of moving parts in the last couple of issues, and I was kind of like, it was good. It was more Expanse stuff, but I was still a little bit on the fence because I was like, it feels like there's a lot going on here. But the way they wrap it up is perfect. It was perfect. It's exactly how you end a story. That's how it should be. And it felt like the end was a bit bittersweet, which if you know The Expanse, that's normal. There are bittersweet endings to that story. So it was really, 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 really good, and you shouldn't skip it. I had a blast. Our last book of the week is Thompson, Lopez, and Farrell. And we're talking about Captain Marvel. Now, Captain Marvel, poor old Carol Danvers is going through a problem. She came back from the future, an alternate timeline, maybe. Is that alternate timeline or just flat out future? Just flat out future. Okay. She came back from the future, and she broke up with the love of her life, Rhodey. And that was a bit heartbreaking, but she's also got kind of a demon in her past, the same demon that Tony Stark has, actually, in the form of alcoholism. So she's going through a rough patch. She's got the demon in the bottle, and she's coming to terms with that. And she's her friends are trying to get her back. What was it? Back on the horse, I guess you'd say. They're trying to help her fight depression and get out of the house and go to fight new villains in the form of speed dating. Yeah, is it weird? Yeah, it's weird. But it actually it goes from being weird to action to fun in like no time flat. I think this is how you should write sort of superhero life. Like if you're gonna do a slice of life for a superhero story, like definitely throw in a bunch of action in the middle of it. Definitely throw in some civilians like suddenly shocked by the fact that there's a superhero involved. That's what you get here, and it wasn't boring at all. And this Captain Marvel run, I did not like the beginning that much. I was kind of like on the fence about the beginning, and I think I didn't like the Star fight because the way the Star got wrapped up felt like it's kind of like a kick in the junk. But this one in particular, the last few issues have been so much fun, and if you haven't been reading it, you're really missing out. So Captain Marvel issue number 27 is a must buy. It's definitely on my must buy list for this week. Not my short list. We've changed that. It's now going to be my must buy list. So go out and buy it. It's great. And that is our final show for this week. We did Marvel. We did Indy. We did our lists. We did DC. We did pop culture news. Do we have anything else to say? Auction this Sunday, 4:30 p.m. on social media. Please, please, please. We are going to put this out here into the world on video. We are going to put this out into the world on paper. But please do not come on shipping day and ask to get books before we put them on the shelf. You have a chance to pick up books during the FOC. We ask everyone during FOC on social media to put in their order then. If you come shipping day and you are a regular and you ask us to set books aside before they hit the shelf, one, you're robbing our other customers who come in on shipping day or after shipping day to pick up books off the shelf when you could have FOC ordered. And two, you're being a bit disruptive during our shipping day when we are really, really busy. So if you're going to wait till last minute, just buy it off the shelf or get the app and buy it from the app when it hits online. Either one of those solutions does not does not infect the process of shipping day. And I meant to say affect. And does not affect the other customers that buy it off the shelf because then you're joining the ranks. So if you, we just can't give people special treatment because it's just taking too much out of our time. That's all I'm going to say. We love you guys. We will see you next week. And I always feel like I should have some wrap-up line. Like Fanboy Planet has this statement like that where they say after every one of their shows that is like, always use your power for good. And we have Green Machine friends. Like, just take care of Green Machine friends and fans of fun. There we go. Are you doing the dance? Read my lips because I can't sign fast enough. There we go. Doing the dance.
That's the way, the newspaper.